Yep, you got it. You are listening to the Good Girl Podcast. I'm Cameo King, your host of the Good Girl Podcast. The Good Girl Podcast, a podcast of women's confessions about our faith, flaws, femininity, and culture. Everything is on the table. I hold space for women. We talk about every possible thing. And today I want to talk to you guys about Jada and Will. And about what we missed. But what I want to do first is I want to set the stage a little bit. Before this conversation, before I hop into it, I have none other than my business bestie, my trusty friend, Danielle Moore, on a call with me for this. She's a licensed mental health therapist. She is the lead practitioner at the Refresh Wellness Center. Danny, thank you for having this combo with me.
Listen, you know I'm always honored to be on any conversation that includes you, friend. Hey, friend. How you doing? Hey. What's up, Good Girl Podcast listeners? Hey, podcast bulls. How y'all doing? Hey, have you been minding your business this week, or have you been in other people's business this week, huh?
Listen, because we fought a little bit for this topic. We've just a little bit, because we thought we wasn't minding our business, right?
Listen, I was trying to mind my business, but y'all kept calling me and stuff and texting me and asking me, and I was trying to listen. I'm a faithful member of Mind Your Business Ministries, so I be minding my business, y'all. But you know what? Y'all wanted to get me all up and entangled in the foolishness, and so now we're gonna have to talk to y'all a little bit about it today.
Minding my business. So we're going to talk about Jada and Will, but how I want to set the stage, I want to talk about the power of the confession, because that is what Jada did. When she brought herself to the table, she confessed about some things, about her transgressions. And here on the Good Girl Podcast, we have women on every week sharing a confession. Why? Because confessions are healing, they're freeing, they are the beginning of a higher and a better you. Because if you're not honest about who you are, where you are emotionally, socially, physically, whatever other ali, you will very much remain stagnant and essentially attempt to do this thing called life when you're really masquerading around as a lower version of yourself. And some of y'all may be saying, well, Cameo, what does that mean? Like practically, what does that mean? So I'll give you a quick example. So my first love, my boyfriend, I ended the relationship. And because I didn't know how heavy heartbreak could be, I was having a very difficult time moving past it. And one of the constant questions I asked was, why couldn't he just treat me right? That's a question I think we all ask ourselves when a relationship ends. You know, like, why couldn't he just treat me right? But somewhere along the way, I realized that wasn't the question that was going to lead me to my healing or lead me to whatever peace I was seeking. I was prompted with a different question. And it was, why did I allow it? And the truth was, I was insecure, but I had to admit that I was insecure. I could have pointed out everything that he did wrong, which was all true, that he was this type of trash person. He did X, Y, and Z. I could have did all that, but none of that would have led to my healing. I had to take accountability. I had to be honest with myself and say, Cameo, you were insecure, so you allowed some of this behavior. And that was my confession in the moment. And that's why I think it's so important. And so, Danny, I wanted to know, did you have a confession?
Absolutely. You know, I think as I've gone through different relationships over time, I've had to ask myself, why did I allow myself to be a part of certain relationships as well? And why did I choose to give, certain people access to me? Why did I choose to stay? Why did I choose to subject myself to, being mishandled or mistreated by someone? And like you said, it had to do with my own insecurities, my own trauma, my own, whatever it is that I needed to reconcile within myself. What made me choose these different people? Or in instances where I didn't necessarily choose to be in that situation with that person, it really was why did you stay? How did we get to the point where you stayed? Why did you not leave? What was that about? And coming to grips with the fact that, oh, it's because you have your own stuff. You were trauma bonding, you were whatever. That was sometimes it's a very harsh reality to come to, but it is a reality that you have to come to and come through too quick if you're going to be mature and responsible in relationships.
And this is why those reasons that Danny just shared, that I shared, this is why confessions are so important, because they lead you to freedom. They lead you to a place of peace that no one can give or take away. You heal, your truth is revealed. And a verse from the Bible that I love is that the truth will set you free. And if you do not get to that truth, and for me, again, the truth was that I was insecure. And when I admitted that to myself and I accepted it, it was almost like something broke in me. And from there, I was able to, with God, with some other folks, work on my insecurities. And so that, guys, is very much the power of a confession, right? And that's very much, I believe, what Jada did. And at the heart of every confession is a truth. It's a raw truth about ourselves and only about ourselves. It's not about anybody else. It's admitting a transgression in most cases. And we oftentimes discount how difficult that is. Like, we are literally bearing our soul. And for Jada on a national platform, for the world to witness the fact that there are parts of our soul that needs work, that needs healing, that is simply ugly. And it is laid out bare for the world to judge. And many of us, we really don't do this within ourselves, because oftentimes we're taught that there's no glory in confessions. Also because of how we have judged others who may have been in that same position. And so I think that's one thing that we very much missed about what was happening at the red table with Jada, just the power of the confession. And I think that is the foundation of this conversation.
Absolutely. I think, the problem with celebrities and regular everyday people is some people somehow feel like they are entitled to know your business if you are a celebrity, as if they are invested in someone's relationships or their life or whatever is going on with them. Let me be very clear about something. Will and Jada didn't have to come to the red table and invite you into their house, invite you into their marriage at all. The red table is there, to foster healing and for people to have confessions and for conversations to, again, bring about healing. But them coming to the red table was on brand for them. Yeah. They chose to come to the red table. They didn't have to address anything. They could have let us think whatever we wanted to think, gather whatever we wanted to gather based on whatever the young man shared. They didn't have to let us in. So the fact that people feel so entitled to knowing their business is just one thing that people need to just stop. Yeah. And then when you want to attack them and pick apart every single thing that is said, there's a Bible scripture that says, consider yourself. Like, consider yourself. You want to pick apart everything that was said, and all they're doing is inviting you into their world to show you that they are human beings. They don't have to do this. Like, that is the thing that, remember, they don't have to let you know their business at all. And since they did let you know their business, this is an opportunity for you to see how real life people function without a facade. Yeah. Was that painful for them? Was it uncomfortable for them? Absolutely, especially based on what was actually shared. Mm-hmm. So I don't want us to miss that. Like, don't miss that it wasn't none of your business. And stop being entitled to other people's business before you start attacking people.
Minding my business. That was one of my things to proclaim in the year 2020. But something else we missed is, honestly, it's a lot of people saying that Will was hurt, that I could see it in his face and I could see it in his body language and so on and so forth. And I've heard a lot of reasons for why he wasn't hurt. Mind you, this was 4.5 years ago. And I'm not saying you can't be hurt from something from 4.5 years ago. I'm not saying that. I've heard one that Will was probably high, and y'all thought he was hurt. He was tired. He didn't feel like being there. But this one that I saw from a post, Nay Marie, she had posted, and she said, y'all think Will, and I'm paraphrasing, but she said, y'all think Will is hurt. No, Will is pissed because he had to get on this national platform and air his business that he has never done in 50. How old is he? 70? I know he would have.
Stop, listen. Why you keep trying to age them?
Because
he's 50. He be 51 this year. Whenever his birthday is, girl, calm down. He 50.
I just be adding years onto black folks because
Dude,
I know they not.
Jada 48. Will is 50. Jada be 49 in September. Calm down.
It will.
They do look good, though. I mean, you know, especially Jada mama.
Listen.
Don't let me digress, but I just want to tell y'all, y'all know Jada mama. She is real life granny goals, okay? I'm gonna be I'm gonna be 67 and snatched.
Real life, okay?
Okay.
So I say all that to say, in Will's 50 years of living, he has never had to air his business to this degree. I think he has been very intentional about protecting his family and keeping his business where he wants to keep it and having a very curated look for his family. And essentially, we handle what we want to handle in-house, and we decide what we want to share collectively. But I feel like his hand was forced because of the controversy, but also because he wanted to support his wife, and this was on brand for his wife. So I think at the heart of it, he was just pissed because he knew he had to do it. Like, I can't just leave you out there high and dry. I gotta come to the red table with you.
But I am the anomaly here that is saying I don't think Will was pissed. I don't think he very well could have been high. But I don't even think he was pissed. Like he said, he even made a joke. He said, I feel like I'm standing with you on the red carpet as you answer questions about your transgressions. And Jada's clapback was, I don't feel like it was a transgression. So, you know, and so like, I think, you know, it was almost sounding as if Jada didn't want to come to the red table, or she came reluctantly. And who better to come with than her husband, you know? And so her husband, who they also clarified that, you know, nobody gives me permission to do anything, marriage or not. Like I am a human being who is responsible for giving permission to thine own self. Let that be a message, you know, even with regard to husbands and wives and permissions and stuff like that. Like, we are not your property. And I loved that they addressed that without even saying it, without even using those words. This is why I am still in support of Will and Jada, despite the fact that I feel a ways about her F-girl behavior.
That's the next what we missed.
With the young boy who's her oldest son's age. But like, I can appreciate that she allowed herself, and that Will didn't feel like he had ownership over her to tell her what she could and couldn't do with her body, and who she could and couldn't see because she was his wife. I so appreciated them addressing that, you know, regardless of him being in a space where he said he was done with her, and he told her to go figure herself out, and they were, you know, in a literal separation, you know, but still married when she started what she called an entanglement with August. I mean, I love, again, that he supported her and let the world know, like, nobody giving Jada no permissions to do nothing. She can do whatever it is that she wants to do.
She a grown
love that.
Yeah, she a grown woman. And so you hit on the next thing I think that we missed, but it was very much Jada's behavior. So when I first watched it, it was a delayed reaction, but how she described everything that went down, honestly, was very gut-wrenching for me, because what it revealed essentially was her F-girl behavior. And when I say that, she very much, and we'll talk about the age thing maybe, possibly, but she very much used August. She very much used him for her healing. She used him, knowing, in my humble opinion, knowing that he was very much in love with her, knowing that he very much wanted something more from her, wanting a commitment. And she picked him up and put him down at her leisure. And then when I say her behavior in totality, how she described their relationship was very dismissive. And it may have been dismissive from her perspective, but it's just like my heart almost broke in two, probably because I've been on the receiving end of an F-boy. But when you think that you're with someone and they're somewhat all in, or you give yourself to someone fully and they just dismiss you.
Well, I mean, I think, again, we're making an assumption that she was being dismissive. And I think that she was simply trying to explain that their relationship was complicated and that it was a situationship and something that she didn't intend to do, because that wasn't the nature of why their relationship started. Their relationship started as she was helping him through his healing journey, and that was something that her and her family was committed to. And then in her own brokenness, she ended up having a trauma bond with somebody in their brokenness, and then it ended up becoming a complicated situation. So I personally don't think that she was being dismissive. I think that she was attempting to appropriately name what happened, which was that I didn't set out to have a relationship with him. I ended up entangled in a situation, because I'm going to break down the phrase hurt people for you today from a mental health perspective, but real simple. When you are hurt, you function from the space of a narcissist. The only thing that matters is you and your pain. And you aren't acutely aware that you're functioning from a space of narcissism. And so what you end up doing is you do whatever is comforting to you to anesthetize the pain. Jada has previously spoke about everybody in her house being narcissists. Jada has previously spoke about her own addictions and such. And if you are hurting and you are experiencing some countertransference and a trauma bond with because you're in close proximity with another person who is also trying to process through their trauma, there you have it. You know, Jada and August are beautiful, consenting adults. You know, you have, anytime that you have non-sexual intimate exchanges with people, it makes you very vulnerable and open to them. And then if you are attracted to that person, if they are easy on the eyes, it is very easy for you to fall into romanticizing your relationship with this person that is bringing so much healing to your life in a non-sexual way. So if you then become sexually attracted to that person, or you could have been all along, it's easier to fall into that type of relationship if that person too has their own mess going on. And for Jada, being the person, the elder in the situation, the person who was the helper in the situation, her issues with dysfunctional codependency, the need to fix other people and their problems, along with her own trauma and mess from her broken marriage, along with her own trauma and mess from her addictions that she runs to, which is sexual addiction, she allowed herself to become what she called entangled with a man that was her son's age.
So I hear you. And I believe that's how she started. But yeah. I cannot dismiss the fact that at some point, Jada knew that she crossed the line. Jada knew that she did not have intentions to be committed to this boy. Well, he's not a boy. I'm calling her a boy because of the reference and the age difference. That she knew that, and she even said it on the show, that I just wanted to feel good. And so there was very much an awareness of her use of August. And so that's why I can't just let that go and say that she, this was a sole product. Like how she got into it, definitely. All the things you mentioned, trauma from her marriage, trauma from addiction, trauma from her family, all those things. But there was a point in which she became essentially an F-girl when she knew that he was feeling this need, or that he could fulfill this need. And I know that I'm not going to be with you long term. I know that this isn't going to be serious. And then when I
agree with you,
and when I say she was dismissive, I think that very much connected to her. She didn't give the relationship the weight that it meant for August. And I think she was aware of the relationship and what it meant for August. She may have gave it the weight that it meant for her, that it was kind of just like a hiccup in the road or a bump in the road, or, and again, something that I used to get me, that I built my healing on. But when Will had to even, challenge her to name a relationship, that to me, that was dismissive of what it was. When it seemed like she was very much dodging accountability, because I feel like if she wasn't dismissive, I said, well, what, let's reimagine what it would look like if Jada took full accountability for herself in this space, because that's really what I'm getting at, because I don't think she did that. It would have been like, I feel, and I know I can't tell people what they should and shouldn't do in certain situations, but when someone is taking accountability for their actions. And I don't think Jada did that in totality.
I'm sorry.
And when I say that, because she didn't name the hurt that she did to August. And I think that was problematic. And that's why I say it was dismissive. She was out there dodging with entanglement and talking about her healing. You didn't talk about his hurt.
I do, based on what August shared in the Nunya video, based on what he shared in his interview, I feel like to me, it speaks to Jada's reluctance to identify what they had as a full-on relationship, because it was a situationship entanglement to her. He specifically said, I gave you time to make me a priority, which says to me that Jada never gave him relationship consistency, communication, or any of that. She very much so allowed him to cater to her need to feel good. As she said, I just wanted to feel. She wanted to feel, and she utilized him for that. And when he said no, I love you, as he said, fully, and I want this to be a thing, so much so that he went to Will and was like, hey, you know what I mean? And Will was like, shoot your shot, whatever. I've been doing this for 25 years. You think you got Jada? No.
Go ahead.
But no, seriously.
Go ahead, young man.
Go ahead. Go ahead. It is what it is. I think him stating that, I gave you time to make me a priority and you didn't, so you can't get mad at how I react to that. The man had enough wherewithal within him to draw a boundary and not allow himself to be continued to be used any further, especially when he said he loved her fully. He decided to be the emotionally responsible party in the situation, and he withdrew from the situation. And to be honest, I think that's pretty dope. Say whatever you want to say about the young man with his whatever he had going on with him. He came to a situation where the person who was supposed to be providing something, and helping him, ended up causing hurt. And that is something that I addressed on a different show where, I talked about this is what happens when you start doing healing work. that requires a licensed professional with people who aren't licensed professionals. And when you engage in dual relationships with people, I know what it's like to be therapizing people who you know, who you've been in relationships with, and it is a messy, 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 messy business. Like, if we're doing confessions, that's my confession. You know, it's a messy business. And so our licensing boards advise us against that. You know what I mean? And so here you are, you find yourself entangled in a situation where you're in a romantic relationship with someone that you're supposed to be therapizing. And Jada don't have no licenses, you know, she's also not immune to hurt. But again, you know, circling back to, they didn't have to let us in their business, y'all.
They didn't.
They didn't have to let us in their business. The way that Jada, you know, disclosed or her word choice, it is what it is. She didn't have to say anything at all. Like, I am in the business of supporting rather than attacking, and I can appreciate you and others addressing, you know, the nature of what she done. What Jada did had the potential to be egregiously harmful, had the potential to undo August's healing, had the potential to drive him back into drug addiction, had the potential to cause him to have a psychotic break or a depressive episode. And we don't know if he experienced any of those things because their relationship, while it started, you know, about 4 or so years ago, I think it may have only ended a couple years ago. And I'm glad that he's in a good place now or whatever, you know, but yes, we're all human. What Jada did, if it was a man,
girl, because that's what I was about to say. Listen.
It was a man who was Jada's age and a woman who was August's age. Jada would be a part of the whole Me Too movement. Because they would be like, oh, she took advantage of this broken and vulnerable. And there are some people who are. Now, there are some people who are flat out canceling Jada and being like, you know, you're a predator, yada, yada, yada. And I wouldn't go as far as call her a predator. But August was the person of opportunity.
I would call her, I would say there are people who are holding her accountable.
Absolutely.
And I think, and again, and that's part of the reason why I brought it up. Like, Jada did not hold herself accountable for her actions and how they harmed somebody else. I don't care if you told them however many times and you gave them however many signs that this isn't a real relationship. Like, that's like I said, it's F girl, F boy, whatever. That's the behavior that comes with it.
It definitely is.
Because you are very much aware when someone is enamored by you that there is an advantage and you're not enamored by them, that there is very much an advantage for you to manipulate the situation. And you can tell them all day, like, you don't draw healthy boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
And so there definitely is a community of people that are holding Jada accountable, because I had to flip it on its head. Like, what if Will Smith was mentoring Keke Palmer and she was going through, you know, the same thing? Like, stuff would have hit the fan. Girl, nationally.
Will would be canceled 50 ways from Sunday. He would lose endorsement deals. There would be no more red table talk, honey.
And I think it speaks to a lot of things. It speaks to the flip side, I guess, of sexism. Well, I guess there's no flip side, but it is sexism, and this is how it affects everyone. It speaks to not really understanding or not valuing the hurt emotions of Black men. It speaks to predatory behavior. Well, I don't want to use the word predatory, but it speaks to the behavior that Jada, that she illustrated.
Absolutely. She, like I said, she was functioning from a narcissistic space where she was hurting and she wanted to feel good, and August was the person of opportunity. And he just happened to be in love with her and in a very vulnerable place, and that was the wrong thing to do. And Jada has issues with having poor boundaries, and she did the wrong things. Yeah. But guess what? She let you in and let you know that she did the wrong things.
And she
because guess what? I'm sorry. I had to catch myself, y'all, because I was about to just start popping off on y'all. I was going to raise my voice.
Listen, because I thought you was about to start cussing.
I felt the cuss in my spirit, but then the Lord said, bring it back. I want you all to consider yourselves, your dirt, your closet. If you, baby, you ain't willing to open up your closet before the worldwide global web, you not gonna do it.
Not on Beyonce's internet. You not
on Beyonce's internet. You're not gonna do it. And so I need for you to stop it with your trolling and your foolishness, and don't miss the message. The message here is that, guess what? I'm a celebrity and you're getting an opportunity to see into my life, into my world. And you can be judgmental and have all of this scrutiny, but after you get finished running your mouth, settle down and look in your own backyard.
Listen, because
any of you have done worse.
That is the heart of why I believe Jada does what she does. That is the heart of why we do what we do. But I think it definitely takes it to another level when you are a celebrity, because there is this idea that money and that fame very much is a solution to all things.
It absolves you from being human.
Exactly. Or that you have some special formula because you have money. You have an extra special blessing in your marriage. You have an extra special blessing in your family because you have money. But the reality is that we deal with the same things y'all deal with. If not, it may even be magnified.
It's magnified because you have more, because the money and the fame and the celebrity makes more and more people bombard you with predatory type of behavior. And so, I wouldn't have called Jada a predator more than I would call her a narcissist.
Yeah.
Who used August as a person of opportunity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You wouldn't be able to pay me to believe that she would engage in a relationship like that with somebody else. He was a person of opportunity and he just happened to be present.
Yep.
And the only thing that mattered was he was hurting, she was hurting. They both wanted to feel good. There was attraction, and this is what it is. It's going down.
Yep. Yep. The last thing that I wanted to address that I think we missed, or I think that people blew out of proportion, was what they ended the show with. They did this cute little, fist bump, boom, bad marriage for life. And I think we, again, on Beyonce's internet, we took that and we ran with it. Like, who wants a marriage like that? Bad marriage? God. Are you celebrating a bad marriage? Y'all said this was goals. And I think we totally missed the point of what they were expressing in that space. And I must admit, I did share a meme, but I shared it in the group. I didn't share it on Facebook but we totally missed it, because when I saw it, I didn't feel any type of way about it.
Nope.
I felt that they were just saying that I don't ride or die, whatever happens, it's you and I. It is it is me and you, good, bad, and different. I'm here. So if we gonna have this bad marriage, me and you gonna have this bad marriage together until we figure it out.
That's exactly what they were saying. But when we were talking earlier about how language matters, I think, we talked about being on brand and how it was on brand for them to come to the Red Table Talk.
Yeah.
It was on brand for them to say, we ride together, we die together, bad boys for life. And so, they just changed bad boys for life because it wasn't Will and Martin. It's Will and Jada. And so maybe they could have said bad husband and wife for, I don't know. But the point is, y'all, so get somewhere and sit down and get you some business. Okay? They were saying that we're committed to this relationship for the long haul.
That's it.
They're committed to this relationship for the long haul. And Jada was like, man, I ain't think you was going to be able to make it, Will. I ain't think you was going to be able to love me through anything. And he I'm here, girl. We ride together. We die together. You know what I mean? He was saying, I'm here, girl. I can love you through this. This is what it is.
Yeah.
And so why you mad, B? Like, can we talk about that?
Somebody
Can we talk about the fact that you're really mad?
Listen.
That Jada is on the Red Table Talk with her whole husband, her whole accomplished, fine, husband. Okay?
Who said
Who is like, I know that you bumped uglies with somebody else, boo, but I still got you. You for life. Ain't nothing you can do to make me leave you, boo. I got you for life. Let's talk about the fact that you're really mad. This what it is.
I saw a post. Somebody was like, "Why are some of y'all madder than Will Smith?" Like,
why you madder than Will Smith?
That's this is. She was like, "Y'all still mad?
Big mad too.
But y'all mad?
Y'all big mad? Oh, y'all so mad? Y'all so mad?"
Yeah, and I think again, like we said, this is an opportunity to check ourselves. I really think that is the heart of the Red Table Talk, that the issues and the people that they bring on, same thing with the Good Girl podcast, the people and the issues that we bring on. This is an opportunity, especially for us, to passively check your own self in the comfort of your home. You ain't got to tell nobody. You ain't got to stand in nobody's church. It can just be you and yourself. You can invite God in and say, this is who I am and this is where I messed up. Help me, God.
I'm so glad that you just brought God into this situation, because what they actually did was a demonstration of what God does for us every day.
You get this little smirk
the
on your face.
Lord, I just want to say, because this is my I'm being petty Betty voice. The Lord forgives us for our transgressions and our sins and our shortcomings every day. And we are encouraged in the Bible to forgive people on this level every day. And we find reasons to disqualify other and troll and drag the mess out of people when they do something. You're madder than Will Smith and August Alsina. And they all going on with their life.
Go on. They didn't heal. They
going on with their life.
Mm-hmm.
Al didn't drop. What's the child? I'm gonna mess the baby name up. Boy didn't drop some new music. He didn't got his little. I can't sing. I can't sing now. Once I don't know one song he got, not one. Oh, I'm lying. That Nunya song. Y'all made me watch the video. Yes, y'all did.
I listened to one of the songs this weekend. My friend sent it to me, but
did you? Well, all I'm saying is the Lord forgive you. You need to forgive Will and Jada. Matter of fact, first of all, why are you even forgiving Will and Jada? You need to be minding your business. The Lord forgave you and told you to mind your business.
Is that in the Bible? Where is that at? Mind your business.
It's in the Bible repeatedly. He don't use those words. He just say go and sin no more.
I want.
That's God's version of mind your business.
I want God to say clearly, mind your business. but you know what? The thing about it is that, again, like I told you, like at the beginning, if y'all want to go back and look at my YouTube video for the beginning of 2020, that was one of my things, that I am going to mind my business in every area of my life, that I have my own battles. I don't have time to be worried about anybody's battles. And I have my own things before me, you know, whether it's my nonprofit, whether it's my business, mind my business.
Y'all, do y'all understand that? Listen, Cameo is my business bestie for real. We be coming up with new whole businesses like every week.
I was gonna sell shea butter for me. You was like, I felt like when I said that, you was like, you had a pause. You was like, okay, like I'm gonna let you think about that, Cameo, because your plate is already full. So I don't know how you gonna put shea butter on your plate.
It wasn't on brand, but y'all, let me tell y'all, that was only one idea out of her other million ideas that we got to be doing that are on brand. Okay.
Yeah.
That was just one sidetrack. Okay. So you can't count that against her. But the point is, we have plenty of business to be minding of our own. Okay.
Can't count that against me. Why are you mad at my shea butter?
wasn't mad at your shea butter friend. I was going to support you and buy your shea butter. Thank you for being a friend. I'm a good friend. I'm that friend. I will support you and buy your shea butter.
I needed some shea butter because where I stay in Lansing, Michigan, I couldn't find anyone. It was literally on Juneteenth. I needed to buy shea butter. What do I look like on Juneteenth buying shea butter? Shea butter of all things from a non-Black. What? I felt like God would have came off his throne and just Cameo. This is it. This is the sin I was talking about. Like, I
you ain't want to be ashy, friend. You ain't want to be ashy.
So I searched high and low, but I did find someone. Finer Teens trees here in Lansing. So yeah, it was a good little shea butter mix. So I'm gonna get my shea butter from her. You know, she probably saved my life. But mind your business. That is what I want us to think about. If you don't get anything out of this podcast, mind your business. Mind your business.
Mind your business. Mind your business. Mind your business. Mind your business.
You've been listening to the Sounds of the Good Girl podcast.